Coming up on Jersey Sports Zone, Cole Groeschel was a jack of all trades as the Dragons get revenge in Allentown. Plus, the drive for 5 straight sectional titles begins in Rumson as the Bulldogs open with Lawrence.
This is Alex Renzo in Homedale. The postseason is upon us, and as the weather gets cold, St. John Vianney stays hot. The undefeated Lancers put up 45 points and withstand a furious comeback from Camden Catholic. All the highlights coming up on Jersey Sports Zone.
In Long Branch, I'm Jay Cook, where despite freezing temperatures, the Green Wave kept on rolling. An unstoppable ground game and a suffocating defensive performance led Long Branch to their second shutout this season over Middletown South and pushed them into the next round of the playoffs. Highlights from the Green Wave and the Eagles coming up next on JerseySportsZone.com.
Reporting for Jersey Sports Zone, I'm Courtney DuPont, where I have 2 mid-state games for you tonight. The first is Ewing at Somerville, where Duke McDuffie does his thing and scores on a pick-6. And the second is the Watchung Hills Warriors at Bridgewater-Raritan, where former game ball winner Anthony Goff dominates the offensive side of the ball. Those highlights and more coming up on Jersey Sports Zone.
This is Nary Rodriguez in Old Bridge, where the Knights take down Trenton to advance to the semifinals of Central Group 5. All those highlights coming up on Jersey Sports Zone.
I'm Mike Frankel in Millville, where it's playoff time between the Millville Thunderbolts and the Williamstown Braves as these teams begin the South Jersey Group 5 bracket. Millville, the defending champion, and the Braves of Williamstown looking to spring the upset. We'll have all the highlights for you coming up in just a bit on JerseySportsZone.com.
We have got some football weather for high school football state playoffs. I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for logging on to JerseySportsZone.com. This is our Friday Week 10 highlight show. And for the first time in the entire football season, weather will play a big storyline in all of the games as there are frigid conditions in every part of the state. No one said winning a state championship was easy. Time for us to bundle up and take you around the state. It's high school football playoff action on JerseySportsZone.com. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of St. John Vianney is being brought to you by BCB Bayshore, your community bank. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of St. John Vianney is brought to you by Paver Restoration. What a way to start our playoff coverage. Non-public Group 3 in Homedale, a rematch from last year's quarters, undefeated St. John Vianney hosting Camden Catholic. The winner gets the top seed DePaul, who had a bye in the opening round of the postseason. And on SJV's opening drive of the game, the Lancers chew up over 6 minutes of clock. Zaire Sterling caps it off with a 5-yard touchdown. 7-0 Lancers in the first. And then it's the Lancers defense stepping up. Dominic Spano brings down Rob McCoy for the quarterback sack. And Zaire Sterling, who had a monster game, would get to the edge once again. Sterling in the zone, his second touchdown of the first half. This one from 15 yards out. 14-0 St. John Vianney. And it was all Lancers early on. SJV gets the ball back. The give is to Josiah Walker. He breaks off a big gain. And this St. John Vianney offensive line in cold conditions was able to really open up holes. They gave it right back to Walker. Josiah Walker from 20 yards makes it 21-0 St. John Vianney. Looks like a route is on, but hang on. Huge play for Camden Catholic before the half. Rob McCoy to Dante Kiet down the sideline for a 38-yard TD. At the half, Camden Catholic down 14. We got a 21-7 ball game. And in the second half, this Camden Catholic team came out of the locker room with a different attitude. This is Hakeem Melvin on the opening kickoff. He finds a hole. See you later. 95 yards for Hakeem Melvin. We got a 21-14 ball game. And the pendulum swings towards Camden Catholic when it comes to momentum, because they would get the ball back, and now Marcus Hillman makes a big play. Look at Hillman go. 56 yards from Marcus Hillman. We are tied up at 21 apiece. But SJV would have some explosive offensive play of their own in the form of Delaware commit Johnny Buchanan. This is a 41-yard run for Johnny Buchanan. He nearly gets in the zone. He's dragged down at the 2-yard line. No worries, because Buchanan gets it back. He takes the plunge from 2 yards out. 28-21, St. John Vianney, 5:04 to go in the third. This Camden Catholic offense was really rolling in the second half. They go back to Marcus Hillman. Hillman's just a great two-way player. He swerves his way for a 17-yard gain. And it would lead to this. McCoy to the corner of the end zone. Mike Suarez with a great grab. That's a big-time catch right there. We're tied up 28-28. They're throwing haymakers in Homedale. How about this Johnny Buchanan? Such a good linebacker. That hole was the size of a bread truck right there. This is a 52-yard gain for Johnny Buchanan. And so many weapons on this St. John Vianney offense. They all take turns. Zaire Sterling with his third TD run of the night from 15 yards out. St. John Vianney takes a 35-28 lead early in the fourth quarter. Now, Camden Catholic, 4th and 6 from the SJV 20. McCoy rolls right. Hakeem Melvin, big first down conversion. And then it's Hillman finding the zone again. An 11-yard touchdown for Marcus Hillman. It's 35-34. Camden Catholic could tie it with an extra point. They decide to go for 2. It's no good, so St. John Vianney still has the lead, 35-34. The Irish get the ball back down by 1 under 6 minutes to go. 4th and 6, McCoy's pass is incomplete. 2 crucial fourth quarter decisions. Camden Catholic comes up empty on both of them. And on the very next play, Johnny Buchanan would make them pay for that decision. Look at Buchanan, 40 yards for the touchdown. Johnny Buchanan had a monster game, 294 yards and 2 touchdowns. St. John Vianney goes up 8, 42-34. And then Will Foreman, late in the game with a key field goal from 19 yards out, makes it 45-34. Camden Catholic would score a late touchdown, but it's St. John Vianney advancing on Friday night. Give a lot of credit to Camden Catholic. That was a furious comeback, but they fall short just in the end as St. John Vianney is through to the non-public Group 3 semifinals. What a football game in Homedale. 45-40 is your final. We talked about it in the highlights. Johnny Buchanan was tremendous. 29 carries, 294 yards, and 2 touchdowns. My, oh my. Remember, he is also a stellar linebacker, and that's what we saw here. We saw 2 outstanding two-way players. Marcus Hillman for Camden Catholic is the same player, the ringleader on the defense at middle linebacker, and he's also a tremendous running back. Buchanan does the same thing. That offensive line by St. John Vianney, led by C.J. Hansen, who's going to be a major D1 recruit. You saw some of those holes in those highlights. Wow. Great job by that O-line at St. John Vianney. And now the stage is set for next week, where St. John Vianney will get a chance to test their mettle against a superpower from the north. Top seed DePaul Catholic has 2 full weeks of preparation. St. John Vianney ready for the challenge. After the game, our Alex Lorenzo with post-game reaction as St. John Vianney holds off Camden Catholic by 5.
Thanks a lot, Rich. Truly a tale of 2 halves in this one, as Camden Catholic came out of the break and scored 33 points in the final 24 minutes of play, but St. John Vianney, behind Delaware commit Johnny Buchanan, was able to withstand that comeback for a 45-40 win at home. The Lancers advanced to the non-public Group 3 semifinals versus DePaul, and after the game, I caught up with Buchanan talking about the big first-round win for St. John Vianney.
First off, hats off to Camden Catholic. They came out really, really strong in the second half, and they put up 2 scores real quick. So, we faced some adversity, so we really had to come back and start swinging ourselves, and it was a dogfight, but we were able to come out on top. For once, we're actually the underdog going into the game, so that's a role that we're going to try to embrace, and we just want to go in with everything we have and try to pull out a win. That'd be huge, and we just have to play our game. Defense has to step up a lot better than we did tonight, and a lot of that falls on myself being the leader of the defense, and we have to adjust a few things, and we'll be able to compete.
Reporting for Jersey Sports Zone, I'm Alex Lorenzo.
Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Allentown is being brought to you by Princeton Orthopedic Associates. Let's go to Allentown, a rematch of last year's state finals at Rutgers. The Redbirds of Allentown hosting Brick Township. Last year, Allentown beat Brick 41-6. Oh, what a different story on Friday night. First offensive play for the Dragons. They're going to run into the cold, right? Jimmy Leblow to Cole Groschel. Look at those swing moves. That is a 56-yard touchdown out of the gate. Brick Township with a 7-0 lead. And Cole Groschel had a game to remember. One of the best performances in New Jersey. Groschel did it all. Look at that INT picking off Dan Merkel. Brick Township takes over, and they would put together a 9-minute drive. Joe Carcio with a first down run here. The Dragons would miss a field goal, so it's 7-0 Brick Township at the end of one. Second quarter, Merkel trying to get some offense going. Here, the pass to Cameron Moore on third down. Good for a first down. But once again, the drive would come to a halt thanks to Cole Groschel. Merkel looking for a big play here. He heaves it downfield, but look at that pick by Groschel. Second interception for Cole Groschel. The Dragons take over, and once again, they control the clock. A nice long drive here. Joey Carcio had 25 carries for 121 yards. Look at how hard he works for every single one of those yards. And the Green Dragons mixed up quarterback play. Jim Leblow and Cole Groschel. Here's Groschel taking the snap. This is a 13-yard run. We told you Cole Groschel did it all. We weren't fooling around. Groschel, he can throw it too. Dan Venezia, 21 yards. 14-0 Brick with 1:05 to go. And the Dragons weren't done there. On the ensuing kickoff, this is a live football. It stays in bounds. And what a great play by Nick Malta. Dragons take over the 29. How about Jim Leblow back in at quarterback? And he's going to find Venezia. Oh, my goodness. Dan Venezia with 2 touchdown catches in 9 seconds. Brick Township with a 21-0 lead at the half. And the Green Dragons go on to a 28-0 win over Allentown. Wow. That's all I can say. This is the first time in 79 games that Allentown has been shut out. The Green Dragons defense held Allentown to just 9 yards rushing, and they produced 3 interceptions. We told you Cole Groschel did it all. We were not kidding around. TD catch, TD pass, TD run, 2 interceptions. I hope everybody in Brick votes for Cole Groschel for a game ball on Sunday on JerseySportsZone.com, because that young man certainly deserves one. Coach Len Zdanowicz had his team ready to play in the cold weather. There's no question about it. Allentown has a young roster. I'll tell you, that Dan Merkel, as a freshman quarterback, had an unbelievable season. He is going to be fun to watch over the next 3 years. But now Brick Township awaits the winner of Freehold Borough and Nottingham. Highlights of that great game coming up on Saturday on Jersey Sports Zone. The Green Dragons get a road win in the playoffs. 28-0 is your final. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Middletown South is being brought to you by Proun's Windows and Doors. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Long Branch is being brought to you by Rosario Realty. Let's head over to Long Branch. 2 veteran head coaches meet again this season. That's Middletown South Steve Antonucci and Long Branch's Dan George. The Green Wave with a 12-0 lead at the half. Opening drive for South in the third. Jake Krellin blown up by Kmar Mims and Kevin Cerruti. Nice tackle for a loss by the Long Branch D. The Green Wave would take over after a 3-and-out, and it was time for the Jermaine Corbett show. Corbett has been great all year long. Look at this move right there. Corbett with the shift. He takes it all the way down to the 30-yard line, a 51-yard gain. Same drive, 4th and 14. Long Branch goes for it, but Brett Petrozelli says no thank you. Petrozelli with a great spin move takes down Wilkins. South takes over at their own 22-yard line. But this Long Branch defense was dialed in. Elijah Sharon comes in hot off the edge. Big-time play right there. Ben Kinsella is sacked. Sharon stepping up big. The ensuing punt would cause some trouble. Tyler Kusha back to punt, but the snap sails over his head into the danger zone. Kusha with a heads-up play to keep it from being a touchdown. So put 2 points on the board. Long Branch takes a 14-0 lead. And then a bit of a crazy sequence here in the fourth quarter. Krellin takes the handoff. Mims and Arnold team up to strip the ball loose. And who gets it? How about Mark Dennis coming up with the great awareness? Dennis takes it down to the 10-yard line. So a big turnover by the Long Branch defense. And then Jermaine Corbett gives it right back. Adam Markman comes up with a fumble recovery. Back-to-back turnovers. Certainly the cold weather playing a role in this one. But Corbett would recover from that miscue and really stepped up in this second half. Second and long, Corbett with a nice first down run here. And it would lead to this. Juwan Wilkins with the give to Jermaine Corbett. He bounces outside, and Corbett is in the paint. 10-yard touchdown for Jermaine Corbett. That makes it a 20-0 game with 6:06 to go. And Corbett again would be the straw that broke the camel's back. A minute and a half to go. It's Corbett with a 36-yard run inside the 10. This play would seal the deal. So Long Branch, after losing a heartbreaker last week to Freehold Borough, responds with a first-round playoff win. 20-0 is your final. Make it a season sweep for Long Branch over Middletown South. They won 21-0 earlier in the regular season. How about another shutout for this Long Branch defense? Jermaine Corbett goes for 168 yards. You saw his touchdown run. The Green Wave will get another home game as the number 3 seed. That's because the 7th seed Jackson Memorial upset number 2 Brick Memorial. So it's Jackson Memorial at Long Branch with a trip to the state championship on the line. After the game, RJ Cook got post-game reaction from the victorious Long Branch Green Wave.
Thanks, Rich. Talk about a big win for Long Branch. After falling last week at home to Freehold Borough, this Green Wave team easily could have been down on their luck. But head coach Dan George rallied the troops and got them ready against a familiar foe. Earlier this season, Long Branch knocked off Middletown South 21-0. After the game, I caught up with George and running back Jermaine Corbett, who talked about facing the familiar foe and pushing on into the playoffs.
Yes, ground. Yep, run right down their throat.
And how do you keep doing that week in and week out? I mean, it don't look like you get tired out there.
Being patient, letting the holes open up. Same.
How big of a win is this for you guys?
Really big win. Move on, hoping for a ring. We're gonna get it going.
We just wanted to finish, we're excited, so excited to be in that position to be up 12-0. Our game plan was the Lions were going to win the football game tonight. So we felt comfortable. Our defense was playing great, and for one of the few games we didn't have to rely on our passing game to win the football game for us, and we were able to get it done up front.
Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Trenton is being brought to you by Princeton Orthopedic Associates.
Thanks, Rich. Trenton's offense has been unstoppable this season thanks to running back Jair Brown, but today it was the Old Bridge night shift, the offense, that got it done for them as they were able to hold Trenton to only 6 points to advance to the semifinals. Trenton visiting Old Bridge for round 1 of the Central Group 5 playoffs. This one being played in the freezer aisle of your local grocery store. The Knights wasted no time applying pressure. Opening drive, quarterback Anthony Mbimbo on the option is going to keep it, and watch him swish hands as he shows you how to start a game. Old Bridge goes up 7-0 early in the first. Mbimbo going to get another opportunity following a 3-and-out from Trenton. He keeps it on the read option, but loses the ball, and Jair Brown is going to fall on it to put his team back on offense. Next play for the Tornadoes. Donovan Ford is going to roll out, fights off the pass rush, but he overthrows his man, and Zach Thomas is going to start the postseason off with an INT. The offensive struggles for Trenton would continue as they were unable to find a rhythm in both the pass and run game. On the other side, Anthony Mbimbo for Old Bridge continued to march his pack downfield thanks to some shifty running. and that would set up a 1-yard touchdown from Chancellor Cooper to give the Knights a 14-0 lead midway through the second. Trenton looking for a spark, and they get one as Jaquel Alfred rips it out of the runner's hands, and the ball is going to come loose. Both teams look like they're wrestling for a bar of soap. The Tornadoes recover, but the drive would be unsuccessful as the first half ends. Knights start the third off with a field goal, and Trenton, still looking for their first score, makes a change at quarterback. Messiah McRae takes the snap and lets it flip up. Manny Weegar is there for some fresh cookies. Next possession, Jair Brown is going to get a shot at quarterback, and he doesn't disappoint as he takes this one downfield for a big gain on this run. And then the Week 8 game ball winner is going to roll out, buy some time, and unleashes this fireball to Tomeyer Neal for the touchdown to make it 17-6 in the fourth. The extra point will be no good. Next touch for Old Bridge. Anthony Abimbo is going to call his own number once again. And look at the 5'9" quarterback take off and put the moves on the defender for an easy score. And that last run would do it as the Knights wrap up the first round of the playoffs with a W. 24-6 is your final. Old Bridge taking down one of their toughest opponents all year to see another game. Afterwards, we caught up with Bimbo and friends and head coach Anthony Alonzo-Fama on how they got it done.
Game plan was to execute on the run, and our defense had to come in and play like they do every game, and they always play amazing, so that's how we won. Keys to success were stopping number 22. He's a big factor, big player in their team, and the defense had to cause turnovers, and defense had to make stops, and that's what they did. 24-6, so they only let up 6 points.
Just that, playing good defense, field position, win the kicking game, and maintain possession. Try to stop a very dangerous Trenton team that's had a lot of momentum, 5 in a row. So that was it.
Dominate up front, get the ball pushing on the ground, and if we have to, just do whatever we have to do to execute. I mean, we come here every single week for the same thing, just to win. Make it to the next game, 1-0.
Old Bridge will take on South Brunswick next week. For Jersey Sports Zone, I'm Nary Rodriguez.
Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Ewing is being brought to you by Princeton Orthopedic Associates.
I'm Courtney DuPont reporting from Somerville High School, where JSZ brings you the Central Jersey Group 3 quarterfinals between the Somerville Pioneers and the Ewing Blue Devils. Just 4 minutes into the first half, and we have number 1, Jalon Dabney, in at QB. He runs the QB keeper and goes 10 yards for the first score of the night. Somerville is up 8-0 after a successful 2-point conversion over the Blue Devils. 1 minute left in the first quarter. Ewing QB Tyreek Alston leading the drive. He drops back, throws it, but it's number 5, Duke McDuffie, who intercepts the ball and turns on the motor. He weaves through the recovering Ewing team, but he's just too fast. A 65-yard pick six for McDuffie puts Somerville up 14-0 over the Blue Devils. Second quarter now, Ewing with a quick 3-and-out, and Somerville finds themselves nearing the Ewing end zone once again. Dabney in at QB, he takes the snap, drops back, and launches up a rocket looking for number 21, Ethan Hilleman. He snags it, and that's another Somerville touchdown. 25-yard pass for Dabney to Hilleman makes it 22-0 after another 2-point conversion for the Pioneers, and they would go on to win this one 51-12. Tonight for the Pioneers, Robbie Forentino with 3 rushing touchdowns, Marcus Lauber with 1 interception, and Duke McDuffie with a 65-yard pick six. The Pioneers moving on will play Friday in the Central Jersey Group 3 semifinals. Reporting from Somerville High School, I'm Courtney DuPont, and you're watching Jersey Sports Zone.
Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Bridgewater-Raritan is being brought to you by Princeton Orthopedic Associates and Total Rehabilitation and Sports Medicine.
Thanks, Rich. Jersey Sports Zone picks up in this North 2 Group 5 quarterfinal game in the second quarter with the Bridgewater-Raritan Panthers leading the Watchung Hills Warriors 21-0. 7 minutes to go in the first half, and Greg Verano on 4th down for the Panthers drops back for a pass. He throws it up, looking for the first down deep in Watchung Hills territory, but it is intercepted by number 2, Xavier Thorne, and Watchung Hills will take over on their own 10. The very next snap, number 15, Chad Martini, gets the ball, dropping back. He is sacked by number 51, Nick Selly for the Panthers, causing the fumble, and number 33, Lawrence Nice, comes up with the recovery in the end zone for the Bridgewater touchdown, making it 27-0 Panthers. 2 minutes left in the first half. Panthers on the Watchung Hills 6 now. The snap from Verano. He hands it off to number 4, Anthony Goff, and he is in for the touchdown. Anthony Goff last week's mid-state game ball winner with a 6-yard touchdown rush to make the score 34-0 Panthers before the half. Second half now, Anthony Goff rushing once again. He gets 6 yards for a Panthers first down. Bridgewater is now on the Watchung Hills 6. Handoff once again to Goff, but he is stopped short of the end zone, and the Panthers are now on the 2. Third down, Greg Verano with the snap and QB keeper. That's another Bridgewater touchdown, making it 41-0 Panthers, and that would be the final score tonight for the Panthers. Anthony Goff with 211 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Lawrence Nice had that fumble recovery in the end zone for a touchdown. Reporting from Bridgewater High School, I'm Courtney DuPont, and you're watching Jersey Sports Zone.
Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Lawrence is being brought to you by Princeton Orthopedic Associates. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Rumson-Fair is being brought to you by ServPro of Eatontown Long Branch. In Central Jersey Group 3, number 1 seed Rumson with their number 1 Elijah McAllister taking on Lawrence. And the Rumson defense came to play. Opening drive for Lawrence. Devon Hemingway gets the handoff, but the Bulldogs defense is quick on the pursuit. 8 RFH defenders get in on this tackle. That's the tone that this defensive unit likes to set. And on the other side of the ball, they love to give the ball to 22. Look at Pete Lucas. He does it week in and week out. Pete Lucas from 37 yards out. Rumson-Fairhaven's on the board with a 7-0 lead. Next drive for RFH, and they're already back in business. As Dan Harvey goes to work via the air, Harvey to Ian O'Connor coming out from the flat. O'Connor, 21-yard gain, puts Rumson at the 10-yard line. Thanks to that great offensive line by Rumson-Fairhaven, Pete Lucas has got a hole and he knows what to do. Look at Lucas just bulldoze his way into the end zone. 5-yard scoring play makes it 14-0 RFH. Lawrence gets their first down in the game with 1:11 to go in the first quarter. That's Tommy Tanner, but the Bulldogs would hunker down. Tanner takes the high snap. Joe Afflinto comes in and rips down Tanner with authority. A quarterback sack right there. And then Harvey looks to scramble. Look at Tanner come from behind, takes Harvey down. Nice job by Tommy Tanner on defense. But yet again, the RFH defense doesn't break, and it won't even bend either. Ryan Kaleblind takes the shotgun snap. That's McAllister coming in hot. How about a quarterback sack for Elijah McAllister with 3 minutes to go in the half? And what makes this RFH team so dangerous is their ability to move the ball quickly. Harvey with under 3 minutes to go. O'Connor over the middle for 26 yards. A few plays later, Harvey starting to spread the wealth around. This offense is more than Pete Lucas. Here it's Alex Malgin on the screen pass, and Malgin takes this one 20 yards down to the 10-yard line. We got 1:17 to go. And the knockout punch comes courtesy of Peter Lucas. 5 yards out, his 3rd touchdown of the first half. RFH with a 21-0 lead at the half. And the drive for 5 is officially underway. 36-6 is your final. Pete Lucas with 3 touchdowns in the first half. You saw them all. Maljon finished with a couple of scores as well. RFH is now 8-1 on the season. They'll be home next week against the winner of Wall and Steinert. That game will be played on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock. Rumson-Fairhaven with a 36-6 win on Friday night over Lawrence. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Raritan is being brought to you by BCB Bayshore, your community bank. Jersey Sports Zone's coverage of Point Borough is being brought to you by Tech Art Builders, Twinborough All-Shore, and the Black and Gold Football Parents Club. An All-Shore Conference showdown in Point Pleasant. The Panthers of Point Borough hosting Raritan, 1 seed against 8 seed. And this Raritan team had the recipe for an upset early. A lot of ground control, time of possession. P.J. Busini with a first down run. This drive would continue in the second quarter. First play of the second, Dan Van back to Nick Keneally. Nice slant route there, 15 yards. Sound the upset alert, 6-0 Rockets in the second. But this Point Pleasant Borough team settled down, and they have got one dynamic playmaker. You've heard him before, you'll hear from him again. James Farah, 40 yards. He is so dangerous running that option. Just like that, it's a 6-6 game. And the Point Barrow defense settled down nicely. Big play here. We slow down Jared Howie, sticking up a big paw on 3rd and 9. Raritan would punt it away. Good job of downing it at the 10-yard line, but Brandon Cipriano on the first play from scrimmage. Look at Brandon Cipriano. I got him as a Madden speed of 95. Look at those wheels. Cold weather, no problem. 90 yards for Brandon Cipriano. We got a 13-6 lead for Point Pleasant Borough. The Rockets trying to get things going, throwing it downfield, but the pass is picked off by John Callender. That's great hops right there. The Point Borough offense would take advantage of the turnover. Cipriano for 90. How about James Farah for 81? Wow, look at this speed by James Farah. He does a great job of changing fields, and James Farah would not be denied. He's got the whole town of Point Pleasant escorting him into the zone. 20-6. And then one more good turnover by the Point Pleasant Borough defense. This is Trent Lavolsi coming out of the pile with the football. And there you see it. Good job by 66 right there. And it was an avalanche of points for Point Pleasant Borough in the second. The reverse here to Cipriano on 4th and 6. He's got the first down and a whole lot more down to the 2-yard line. And a 27-point second quarter is capped off with Farah's 3rd touchdown of the quarter. And the Panthers of Point Pleasant Borough go on to a 41-12 win over the Raritan Rockets. James Farah had 11 carries for 170 yards and 4 touchdowns. The speed of Brandon Cipriano on display once again. It's devastating. Another great job by Anthony Petruzzi and the Raritan Rockets, who rally late in the season to get into the playoffs. Raritan will face Homedale on Thanksgiving to wrap up their season. As for Point Pleasant Borough, this might be one of the best games in New Jersey next week. The Manasquan Warriors, who won a sectional championship last year, will face off against Point Borough. The winner of that game is heading to the state championship. That is going to be a fun game to watch. Manasquan at Point Borough. You better get there early. It's going to be packed. Can't wait to bring you those highlights next week. It's the Panthers with a 41-12 win over Raritan.
I'm SNJ Today's Mike Frankel for JerseySportsZone.com in Millville, where the South Jersey Group 5 playoffs get underway tonight between the Millville Thunderbolts and the Williamstown Braves. It's a rematch of a regular season game between these teams, a game won by the Bolts back in late September. First quarter, Bolts quarterback E.J. Nichols zips a pass out to Carlton Lawrence on the wide receiver screen. Lawrence slips a few tackles, and he is loose down the sideline. Carlton Lawrence breaks it for a 76-yard touchdown. It's the only score of the first half, as Millville leads 6-0 at the break. Third quarter, the Braves finally cash in. On the double handoff play, it's Nick DeRosa into the end zone. DeRosa's score and the point after give Williamstown a 7-6 lead. Early in the fourth, a short field for the Braves after a Bolts turnover. J.C. Collins on the quarterback keeper. He strolls in, and Williamstown extends that lead 14-6. But here come the Bolts. Nichols fires down the seam to Marcial Ramos for the touchdown. That's a 37-yard strike from Nichols to Ramos to bring Millville within 2. So here we go with the conversion attempt. It's Clayton Scott muscling in. Scott fired up. He ties the game at 14, and we would go to overtime. The Braves with the first possession in OT. Fourth down here. Millville's Jameer Downing flies to the football. Downing forcing a turnover on downs. And now it's the Thunderbolts' turn. The give goes to Clayton Scott, the senior running back, running over defenders. Scott stretches for the goal line, but he's ruled down at the 1-yard line. And on the next play, it's Scott ball game. Millville survives a first-round scare from Williamstown to advance to the South Jersey Group 5 semifinals. 20-14 the final in OT. The Bolts will go on the road to face the 2-seed Rancocas Valley next week. Millville now 9-0. Williamstown falls to 4-5 and will close out the season against Washington Township on Thanksgiving. Let's go to the South Jersey Group 1 playoff bracket. Gateway, the 3-seed, hosting a playoff game for the first time in school history. The Gators have never won one, up against number 6 Woodstown. First quarter, 4th and goal for Gateway. Jared Clayton on the carry, and Clayton is in there. The Gators strike first and lead 6-0 after 1. Second quarter, the Wolverines have to punt the football away. Logan Cruitt takes it off the bounce at his own 25-yard line. Cruitt weaving through traffic and into the open field. Logan Cruitt, a 75-yard punt return for the touchdown. Gateway adds a 2-point conversion to lead 14-0. The Woodies respond with a Cody Wolf QB sneak for a touchdown. Then on the 2-point conversion, Wolf slings a pass to Eric Quinones for the 2. Woodstown right back in this thing at 14-8. Under a minute to go in the half, Matt Getz throws to the end zone to Cruitt, who makes the catch for a touchdown. Cruitt's second score of the game gives the Gators a 20-8 advantage at the break. Same score in the fourth. Derek Parker takes the pitch and burrows into the end zone, and Gateway earns the first playoff win in school history. 28-8 your final. The Gators advance to the South Jersey Group 1 semifinals to face either Pennsgrove or Shalleck. Gateway now 8-1. Woodstown falls to 4-5. The Wolverines still have Salem to play on Turkey Day. I'm Mike Frankel for JerseySportsZone.com.
A special thanks to our team at Jersey Sports Zone who went out there and braved the elements. Our cameras are holding up well. We're going to warm up, take a little bit of a rest, and get right back to it on Saturday. More high school football playoff action here on JerseySportsZone.com as we continue the march towards the state championships. We are excited to bring you all of this great action. And on Sunday, a special day as it is high school soccer state championship day for the non-public schools. We'll have highlights of all 4 games at Kane University. That's going to do it for our Friday Week 10 highlight show. I'm Rich Krampanis. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on Saturday. More playoff action right here on JerseySportsZone.com. Want to see highlights and features from your favorite school? Jersey Sports Zone is entirely supported by our great sponsors. Email marketing@JerseySportsZone.com to get your business in front of our loyal audience and highlights from your hometown.